8 a.m. in Australia. Thank you for watching, of course. Um, yeah, it's been a fun week with all of this cool upgrades to Blender and also these updated rigs and stuff. Really happy with them so far. Um, yeah, and I took some time on Friday to give this thing a whirl, and it's coming up really nicely. I don't know if you saw my Twitter post or what else did I put it on? I think that's it. That's all I put it on. Of me showing this in action. But here's the rig that we fixed up on. Oh, by the way, I got to turn that off. Let me just turn off that constraint. Um, Here's a rig that in action with the new controls, and it's coming up really, really nicely. Really nicely. Super happy with it. If you want to know what that glitching is, it's yeah, I can talk about that later. But basically, in order to offset the animation on twos, you kind of have to build out some counter animation tools to make it work. But yeah, let's continue on with this scene, and then I'm gonna jump into another scene that I need to start refining. I just want to fix up one little bit at the end of this animation here, and you can see it's doing its thing. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. The only thing is that I've noticed that with library overrides, every time you open up the new file, it remembers the layers that were open in the original file, which is really annoying. So you need to, if you don't want to see all your deformed joints and all that sort of stuff inside inside of your animation file, you need to actually disable them or remove them from view inside your original file. So turn those off if you don't want to see them. Save that file, and by default now, if you go into the other scene again, it will no longer show by default. Interesting. So yeah, that's coming along good. Feel free to ask any questions as I go through this stuff, as of course. Happy to answer anything that comes to mind. Or if you just want to say hello, feel free to just say hello. I think my chat box is working. I've got two chat boxes open today because I was testing out some new overlays, but didn't quite have time to fix it up. But yeah, I'm very happy with what's with the progress I've made in the last week. I'm going to turn off the rain as well, just so you can see what's going on there. So the rain is here. I'm going to turn off the puddles as well. That will increase a few performance points as well. And now it's basically running at full speed. So really cool stuff. And yeah. Hello, good morning. Apparently, this is my 100th comment using Restream. So you're whoever was the first one there, Dr. Knack, you're the 100th commenter since I switched over to Restream. How long is this animation going to be? It's going to be, at this point, close to 2 or 2.5 minutes. So yeah, that's how that's going to be. Let's just close that down. So what I'm going to do here, oh shit, that's what I need. I needed that actually. I'm actually going to move. Yeah, I'm going to come back into that non-linear editor. I'll need that to be editable. There we go. So I've been editing with a NLA strip at this point. So yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, I want to make that faster. That little faster. So it feels less soft. So I'm gonna grab all that animation there. And I can't really use animation layers inside of Blender. It's not, yeah, it doesn't really exist. So I kind of have to go through and speed it up myself. So from here to here, no worries, thank you. Good evening. So there, from here on in, those frames there, I'm gonna shorten those out. So let's grab, I'm in the dope sheet, that's why it looks different. Let's just switch that over to the timeline. That way I can actually look at things a bit clearer. From here to here. All right, cool. Grab all those keyframes because I've got everything selected, so it should be fine. Let's save this first as a new file. And just scale it down and see how it looks. Looks better. Might shrink it down a little bit less. Yeah, I like that better. That looks better. That way I have a little bit more time to have a... Yeah, there is an add-on. Oh, hello. How you doing? Welcome from Australia as well. That's awesome. It's always cool to see where everyone's watching. It's really fun. Truly an international world we live in now. So there we go. Liking that. And then see how her chest is, I think her chest is breathing there. I forgot to change that. I sort of changed the timing of that increase and decrease. Because originally her chest, interesting, has scale there. Scale, it goes here. There's a scale. Scale changes there. So I want her to breathe up. Oh, no, that's correct. And then down again. Good afternoon yourself. Oh, awesome. Well, if you haven't seen my channel before, I try to do this at least 3 times a week, streaming 3 times a week. So, oh, thank you. So I appreciate the support. Cool. So what I want to do now is, okay, so in my previous scene, the little girl is actually standing here. So what I want her to do is just open up her eyes and look down at the floor. That way it will hook it up to the next scene, and that's where I've been working on the girl jumping up on the grate, doing kind of the same thing that Evie is doing, and then she looks around, she sees the wolf in the background. If you haven't noticed it, there was a wolf there in the original video that I posted on Twitter. If you haven't seen it, check it out. There's a wolf, and it pops up in the behind the rain and all that. Very subtle. So just want to, before the wolf rocks up, actually might need to show that still. It's amazing that the wolf is actually not affecting the frame rate that much. So cool. I just want Evie to sort of just shift their weight slightly. My main sources is as a generalist, if it would be a better way of putting it. Sort of like close to a, my actual title is digital content. I can't even remember the name of my role. It is lead content developer. I'm a lead content developer for a small studio. Basically, I am a generalist that does all kinds of stuff: animation, rigging, texturing. I basically am a one-man team at the moment, but that may change. Set design. How much detail do I put into my sets for animation? It depends. Depends on what it's for. So for this sequence here, very little, almost nothing, because I'm super fucking lazy for this animation. But you'll see when I do get around to animating the last scene, and I'm not sure if I'm going to show it because it could be a spoiler. I don't want to give away the ending a little bit. A lot more set dressing will be involved. A lot more. All right, cool. So that's about 12. I want to have it down for about a second. Let's do that. I'm going to keyframe everything here. Delete these keyframes. And I just want her to very slightly shift her weight. And then look down. Oh, that's too much. Again, subtle. And then open her eyes. What's the story of Black Curtain? The overall plot, and I want you to note that I actually wrote this script, or the idea came to me when I was at university, and I did a short film about it already. It wasn't called that at the time, and it was a very different story, but the overall plot is pretty much the same, and it is oddly similar to the way the world is now. But basically, the idea is that these people live on another planet away from Earth, very far away from Earth, basically on a colony planet, and they are isolated from Earth and other people around the universe due to an unforeseen event that led to, I guess, a quarantine of their planet. They don't know if humanity exists on outside of their planet anymore, but they assume that basically Earth was destroyed by something. It could have been a powerful force. It could have been a disease. It could have been a cataclysmic event, basically. But the theory is that it was a sort of meteorite hit Earth, and basically they're the last people left on Earth, the last piece of humanity left in the universe. So they assume as much. And in the plot of the story, this character here doesn't believe that to be true. She tries to make contact with Earth again. She finds a way to do that, and things ensue. Basically, that's basically the plot of the story. So she is a young woman who discovers a way to regain contact with Earth, and yeah, lots of sinister things are happening behind the powers that be, essentially. Yes, actually. Yeah, I'm not going to go through it, but yeah, basically, some things are revealed, essentially. And this is completely, yeah, very, very much coincidental to how life is now, essentially. They're basically in a quarantine. In the plot of the story, the quarantine is basically mandated, or assumed to be that way. Not quite. Not quite. I'm not going to go through anything else, but yeah, you'll find out. So yeah, just animating, resetting a few things. Let's reset her lips. Although the lips have been improved, there are some things I could do better with this setup. I feel, but it's definitely a lot better than what it was, that's for sure. What the fuck's going on here? I don't know what's going on here. Let's decrease the scale. Let's just reset the entire thing. I think it's the jaws open too much. There we go. There we go. That's better. Thank you. Thank you very much. So here we are. So you can see here that straight away, her recovering from that pose is already needs to be like she needs to hold on to that pose a bit longer. So I'm going to copy that pose and move it forward, just to give it a few moments to breathe. So when she comes down, now then she like has time to sort of regather her thoughts, and then she'll look down towards the little girl. All right, cool. Oops, there we go. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask away. How do you do the face? Is it grease pencil? It used to be. It used to be grease pencil, but not anymore. Now it's just a mesh. I'm going to give her a little bit of a breathing. And just a slight sort of thing. That's too much, obviously. It's crazy how little you need to do to give it that impression. Let's undo the scale there, undo the scale there. Yeah, it's hard to find, and like, but like I will say that this isn't exactly like the way I'm doing it right now. Is one of many ways to do the same thing. I'm sure that there's more efficient ways. So just be aware of that as well. This is not the only way to do things. I'm sure there's better ways, but I'm just going with the way that I was taught. So that's the main thing I've started to notice about my tutorials and comments and stuff like that, is that the message that I want to try and get across isn't seeming to get across 100%, is that there's no one way to do anything. There really isn't. And my videos are really just there to show a method that gives you an opportunity to try and experiment with your own. That's a big deal for me. Oh, thank you very much. Have I watched any good animation recently? The only animation I've watched recently that has shit on anything else is Arcane. That's the only thing. I don't really watch that much animation anymore because, and I also watched Encanto the other night, which is really nice. You know, typical Disney fare, but very nicely executed. Apart from that, yeah, Arcane is just like the gold standard for me now. It's ridiculous how much quality is put into that. All right, cool. So the thing about her lips there, they're meant to be showing her breathing. So, going out. Sorry if my microphone is blowing out there. So I'm gonna give that a little bit of a feel. In, and out. When she breathes out, it looks really weird when you see it from here, but it looks all right in the screen. So maybe even bring her jaw forward. That could be a thing. Let's have a look at that. Let's have a look. Just what I really need to do is get those blend shapes in there as well. Oof, got some bounce in that head. Let's see how we can fix that. I don't know, I'm just making things up. Just seeing how it's going on the side. I'm not going to see it from that angle, so it doesn't really matter. Yes, I have a lot of plans about animation. Just to answer your question about that. I'm going to make a video about my plans for 2022, but basically, to summarize, if I will, this year is just going to be all like almost 100% about animation, almost 100%. I think I've done enough videos on modeling, done enough videos on rigging, and I want to really focus on animation because I have a bunch of other reasons for that as well. Last year was productive in terms of both my career and also my videos on YouTube, but I have nothing really to show for it on a personal scale. Nothing to show from it in terms of building out a new portfolio. So really, I want to make animation. Animation will be 100% all about it. That's what it will be. And the only way I can do that is by animating. So I need to actually create stuff for that, like that. So oh, you don't have to apologize for not rocking up on time. Just chilling here. So yeah, that's the plan. Let's just bring that forward a little bit. Sorry if I'm sounding weird when I do this. So let's get that down. I'm just gonna get that up. Let's get that up and a little bit like forward. Like that. Bend that forward. So I'm trying to make this feel natural. There we go. It looks a little bit better. And then this can go up a little bit of movement there. Very subtle. That's better. You can see a little bit of overlap there. Looking a lot better. But yeah, oh, thanks. And I do plan on adding lots of rigs, lots of animation rigs, lots of cool stuff like that. Oh, thank you very much. You're the first comment on Twitch. Just goes to show you how. Oh man, Twitch is a hard one to crack, man. It's a hard nut to crack. Any points of adding effects in Blender, or should I just stick to After Effects? Now that's a good question. I personally say that After Effects will make it easier, less performance intensive, and you won't have to worry about re-rendering, and it will reduce your rendering time in Blender. Now, depending on the effect, if you're going for like physical effects, like stuff like cracks in walls, stuff like that, I feel like Blender would still be better off. But for stuff like volumetrics, I still feel that for the most part, unless you're using Eevee, you're better off kind of just using After Effects, unless you need actual interaction with the characters that you're working with. So like if you need an arm to move through a volume of mist, and that mist has to sort of deform with the character, then yeah, definitely Blender. But if they're not, if the effects aren't directly being affected by interaction with characters, then you can get away with just using After Effects. That's my rule of thumb. That looks much better. And I can go with her face. So I'm just going to grab these and then just pull that forward. Now that pose change is a little bit, no worries, dude. So let's see. That pose I think is a little bit strong. It's moving in there too strong. So let's move that forward. I'm gonna get a slight little bit of overlap in there. Let's move that forward too. When she moves forward, it's going to give it a little bit of a dip. So I'm working with real subtlety here. Again, I'm not the best animator in the world either. Like, and you can't expect to be with as a one-man team. It's really difficult. That looks so much better. Just a little bit of, oh, that's so much, like that subtlety. It's just so much, yeah. It just looks so much better when it happens. Good day. How you doing? So what I'm going to do is just tilt her head now. So when she turns her head, opens her eyes, I'm going to rotate her head. And then add a little bit of easing so it's a bit faster. And just a little bit of a dip. Very little bit. That looks better. So what she's doing. Oh yeah, and Twitch is a weird one. 1-3 doesn't. Yeah, of course not. Yeah, normal art always gets. I would say it obviously gets more eyes because you see the colors, you see the form take shape a lot faster than with 3D. 3D just takes so much time to refine, and I'm just animating one tiny little scene, and I've already been on for half an hour. And even though you may not, you just see me repeat, and the only thing I'm doing is talking through it. And yeah, on Twitch, I'm guessing that's just not as engaging. I'm not complaining about that though. Twitch, even as a website, I just don't like using it that much. Oh, thank you. I try to keep my animation fairly muted compared to like a Disney or a DreamWorks. I don't try to do too much crazy flary stuff. I like to have it feel at least a little bit more grounded. But I will have to start practicing a little bit more on the sort of more crazy action, that sort of stuff soon. I think that will look fine. And let's just get that I'm gonna get those eyes darting just a little bit as they open up. So when let's get a little bit of dart. It's a bit fast. It just shows you how little frames you need for some animation. Okay, so her eyes are moving there. Let's get that there. Copy that pose. And then just really shrink it down. Making my own rig. It was really hell to make one, but yeah, thank you. Yeah, I used to hate rigging myself, and I used to absolutely despise rigging. But I think I took about 6 months of just learning tutorials. Learning rigging in Maya really helped me a lot more than you may think for rigging in Blender, because rigging in Maya is so much more rigid. Yeah, much more rigid constraints in a way. Like you can't. It's much more precise. Put it that way. You got to be much more precise in Maya than you do with Blender, and it's less forgiving. So learning how to do that in Blender, Maya really helped. And really opened my eyes for how that worked. Oh, thank you. Might add a little bit of rotation in her head a little bit, just as she's turning her head. Just see how that looks. And then when she turns, maybe give it a little bit of a rotation that way. It's a bit too much there. Although I could just get away with just rotating that a little bit more that way there. Actually, that looks fine. Maybe give her a little bit of a rotation on Z. Probably in the wrong direction, actually. That looks like shit. Oh, God. You gotta be very critical when you're looking at shit like this. And also gotta remember that I'm also gonna be converting this to 2s, so the animation will be more forgiving. Oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing that file, honestly. Let's see. Oh, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. All right, cool. So, actually, that looks pretty good. Happy with that. And as she opens her eyes, I might actually have her squint her eyes a bit more. So what I'm going to do is, does this work? No, it won't work. Grab these 2 controls here. These are the global eye controls. I'm going to keyframe those. And then as she opens her eyes, I'm going to have her squint them a little bit. Then pull the animation here to get that ease in. See that little squint? So I'm going to pull that forward actually. There we go. There we go. Did you see the thing posted on Insta? No, I haven't seen it. Which one? Was it recently or the one from a few weeks ago? I saw the look dev ones, but I haven't seen the the ones that you were doing. Many think that something like this can be animated quickly on a click. No, it can't. Unless, like, even doing mocap won't really fix the problem. All right, cool. I'm going to add some extra. Just a little bit of down motion in the eyebrows and then up. Rotate. So, copy that, move that forward. Oops, move that forward like so. Get that up. There are some parts I just can't fix with this rig, with the way the eyebrows have been designed, unfortunately. But they're definitely still flexible enough to get some emotion in there. There we go. Sweet. Let's copy those. There we go, cool. So when she opens her eyes, need to ease those in a little bit. So I'm going to grab that, pull it forward, and then get them delaying a little bit. Even now, it's a bit too slow. So fast, let's just elongate those animation keyframes. These aren't moving, are they? Let's just delete that again, actually. Where's my keyframes? Am I missing something here? Why aren't they showing? Oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah. It's because of these. Maybe not. Up. Actually, it is that. All right, cool. So I'm going to grab those. And push that forward so it has a bit more easing. That's better. Ah, no worries. Any advice on a whole system meltdown? My PC has a blue screen type issue that won't start up properly. I'm considering buying a PC with the RTX card. I don't know. I mean, it depends on what's causing the blue screen. Is it like, is it Blender that's causing it? Or is it your system that just causes it, happens automatic, like on its own? I don't have an RTX card, by the way. I only have GTIs, GTXs. Cool. There we go. I reckon that will do for this scene. Hard drive. Then I would just say buy a hard drive. It's fucking impossible to buy a goddamn RTX card right now. So if you can switch over to a SSD card, a SSD hard drive, then I would suggest that. Because RTX is not going to fix that blue screen if it's the hard drive being corrupted. All right, cool. PC is out of memory. How much RAM do you have? And is it happening when you're trying to render, or is it happening during stuff like this when you're animating? All right, let's pop back out of that edit, and I'm going to bring back my modifier. Turn that back on. So it's now in 2s. Same with this. Yep. Cool. Let's bring on the counter animation key thing. Turn that back on. 16 gigs should be fine. Discord may come on the cards, but it would probably be exclusive to Patreon subscribers, I'll be honest. because I don't know if I'd be able to manage hundreds of people on a single Discord channel. Yeah. Sounds like your hard drive's corrupt, dude, or something, or your motherboard's getting fried. Might be worth taking it to a service center or something like that to see what the core issue is. But it sounds like it could be your motherboard may have got cooked. All right, cool. So you can see it's animated on 2s now. It's still running at 24 frames a second. So I'm pretty happy with that. I will fix up her thumb though. I know it's weird, but her thumb's not touching the screen, touching the wall. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, cheers. I'm trying to grow it for this year. The goal is 100,000 subs by the end of this year. Had a good growth during Christmas season. It's dropped back down in terms of like natural growth. But I'm hoping to continue the process, I guess you can say. I might actually grab that. So what I need to do is just get a little bit of in her thumb there when she pulls down. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna grab those, keyframe those, and just have a little bit of a slide in the thumb. So slide that in. Get her slipping that thumb up. There we go. Something like that. There we go. That looks better. How different does that make? It makes such a difference. Just that makes such a difference. Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so. There we go. That was cool. All right, cool. We've got 15 minutes. I'm going to open up an older scene again. I haven't done the fix the little girls. If you're wondering why that's just glitching, by the way, it's because I'm counter animating it to make it match the camera. If you look at my Spider-Man video about that, you'll see what I mean. But I think this is done. This is a done scene. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, that's sick. All right, cool. I'm happy with that. Let's move forward to a more recent scene. Girl looks up at Evie, part 3. Last time I touched it was on the 8th of December. So let's have a look. So I'm going to fix up her eyes eventually, but the rig is essentially the same. It's actually very similar, to be honest. But I know what to do now with the jaw, because I wasn't getting enough stretch. So yeah, I'm actually really happy with the jump up here. Yeah, rendering fur is always a pain in the ass, especially if you're using cycles. I am planning on jumping on the TikTok bandwagon. I need to think about what the fuck to actually add to TikTok though. It's really hard to edit. You know, even if it's a minute long or 30 seconds long or 8 seconds long, what can I add to it to make it dynamic and feel interesting? So I need to think about that. I never did I haven't done the donut tutorial. I never did it. All right, cool. I'm still happy with this scene. That's a good sign. I'm happy with this so far. So she's the one that notices the wolf behind Evie. So no, I never did it. I was learning Blender before that tutorial existed. So yeah. All right. At least the first version of that tutorial. I'm gonna turn off the deform joints. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. So what I want to do here is, all right, cool. 1, 2, 3. All right, cool. What I need to do is extend out this pose here so she can look left, notice behind Evie what's going on, and then react. So I'm going to extend that out. Yep, that will do. Let's make sure I have everything selected. Something like that. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Why is that arm animating still? Is it because there's a fucking IK? The fuck's going on here? Ah, it's not showing. Hate when that happens. Let's just move view forward. The fuck? Oh, because off. Oh, it's right off camera. Okay, cool. I have to extend out that animation, it seems. All right, cool. Let's move it forward. 190 frame, 180 frames will do for this now. 180. Yeah, that's the glory of Eevee. If you can do Eevee instead of cycles, you may be able to at least get some animation. And I'm gonna do a video on like setting expectations when it comes to animation when you have a slower computer. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about that in detail in a few weeks. Before I wrap up though, I will have to do the before I start all the animation stuff. I'm gonna wrap up the entire thing with the clothing for the no sculpt series that I was doing. I'll probably start recording that tonight. Actually, the clothing. Where is that from? Up here. All right, cool. Let's bring those back. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm using Cycles right now. Cycles X for I'm guessing Cycles X is in 3.0. So yeah, I've been using it and it's fucking mad. That's awesome. It's way faster for sure. All right, cool. So what I need to do is just get out a pose. Let's see. So what I'm going to do here is just slow down that pose where there's movement. There we go. There. Push this forward. All right, cool. And then from here, I'm going to add a hold frame and then have her look very slightly to the right or wherever the hell it is. That way. And eyes will dart to the left like that. So 1, 2. Don't you worry about the crappiness of the animation. I'm adding, basically blocking it out. One, two, three. So double take almost. Yeah, the viewport is so much faster. Even like now, I'm not sure if it's my rig being more optimized or Blender 3.0 just having viewport display faster. But it's definitely faster. Lindsay Sterling, Wheelie Giants. I have to check it out. I've been trying to find something new on how to keep armor from bending on a model and animating it. Yeah. The very simple answer is that you bind them to specific joints. So you need to basically build a rig that's separate from your body. and then you have to build plates like armor that is constrained, armor joints or bones that are constrained to your main rig. So you basically, you can do this with a secondary rig. If you don't want to have it all part of one rig, you have a secondary rig. So you make a secondary armature, call that armor, and then you can then use constraints to constrain it to your main rig, and you bind the plates of armor 100% to your secondary rig, and then they won't deform like jelly. That's basically it. But you may notice that even in video games, the armor bends. Like sometimes you just can't avoid it. One. That doesn't have to be as intense. Copy that pose, paste it. Hey, what are you doing? How you doing? Yeah, I'll go wrap up soon, actually. 7 minutes to go before my day starts. Wish I can actually do this longer, to be honest. Yeah, then yeah, definitely take on my suggestion, in my opinion, about the secondary rig. Since starting to study animation for games, the amount of dodgy skinning you see in AAA games. Yeah, of course. Yeah, they got a tight deadline, man. One. I'm not great with double takes, so just working with that. I think it needs a hold longer, basically. Let's add everything that I can add. All right, cool. One. Turns. That still looks ugly as fuck. Let's put that there. Turns, looks, back, and then back to there. G'day, how you doing? Been playing Witcher? Yeah. Well, with RPG, you can't avoid it. RPGs, because of the way that the system works, you've got to swap out armor sets, all that sort of stuff. There's a leeway, man. There's always going to be some leeway, unless you're doing like a full-on realistic linear game where there's no change in costume for the most part. Then you can be really specific about clipping and stuff like that. But yeah, there's no way to avoid it, basically. Oh, cheers. Thank you very much. 1, 2, and there we go. Cool. So let's get her moving her arm down a little bit in this pose. Rotate that a little bit. That head turns too much. I'll copy that. Move it forward. There. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see what I can do here. All right, cool. Stop that. I'm gonna have to redo that head tilt. Sorry if you're not seeing anything too dynamic, but that looks like shit. Sorry, I'm being I'm critiquing myself here. I do not like that at all. I'm going to copy this frame and be a bit more subtle. And probably use her body rather than her head to turn. 1, 2, and 3. Delete those keyframes. No cloud rig on this one. I'm not that fast to change. This is all custom rig stuff. I don't even know how to use cloud rig yet. I don't even know what it means, honestly. I think it's just a series of extra attributes you put on a Rigify. Ah, fuck. I think I'm gonna have to like copy this entire pose. Let's just get rid of this shit. Let's keyframe that. Keyframe that. All right. Definitely a lot of work to do in this part, that's for sure. Yeah, Rigify is okay. Definitely a lifesaver if you don't know how to rig. There we go. Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, my state of mind is completely fried at this point. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna continue on with this evening. I don't think I'll be online, but I'm gonna refine this further because I want to. Now it's gonna drive me nuts. I'm gonna call it. Yeah, 9 a.m. Got to wrap it up. I just want to say thank you for watching. It's been awesome. If you have any, if you watch on this, if I'm not online when you're watching this, feel free to drop a comment in this, the YouTube upload. Other than that, hopefully you'll be able to see a new video up in the next day or so with a proper tutorial, in which case I will catch you guys then. Dude, you got to check out every single modeling tutorial that I've got. It's all about stylized characters. Just go to my channel, you'll see. Anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.